Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, one of the anglers, in fact, it was Michael Neal, that actually won this last tournament. Michael Neal, he was from Tennessee, and I got a chance to talk with a lot of these anglers when they would come in to launch their boats, and I would welcome them to our area because I was the tournament director for us. And one of the things that Michael Neal said is, I'm using something a little different. Fish, they need to see something different. They're seeing the same type of lures all the time. All the time those go by them, and they do learn. So I think this is important to understand because as you adapt to new lures that become part of what you use, the fish are they're going to take longer to adapt. They're going to see this and think, I've never seen that before. That can't be dangerous, or whatever goes through their mind. But here's one of the lures now that is on the market. The fishermen are sort of reaching out to because they've heard incredible stories about them. And this, to me, is mind-blowing. Because what this lure is, it's a little square. Picture just a little square the size of a bite of a chocolate bar or something that you would take. And it almost looks like it's made of foam rubber or something. And then they've run living rubber. That's what spinnerbait tails are made of, this living rubber, all these strands, and we call it living rubber. They run them through this square, and they throw it out. It looks nothing like anything I've ever seen in the water. What it looks like is a foam rubber square with living rubber tubes going through it. But the fish come up and hit it. And they've never seen anything like this, but I don't know what they think it is. And it takes me back years and years ago when these soft rubber, we call them rubber back then, plastic, of course, soft plastic baits came out on the market. And the first ones were just called Mr. Twisters. They were curly tails. They were a little grub-like bit of soft plastic with a curly tail, a thin curly tail, so that curly tail, or that tail would just wiggle in the water really quickly with any kind of resistance. And then they progress from there. And as time went on, because everybody was using twisters, the fish, I guess, kind of got used to them. And an angler devised a adaptation to this, running living rubber pieces through it to make it look like little spider legs or something. And I remember the first one was called the ugly bug. That's what they called it. And I think it was Dan Gapin. I think that was his name that came up with this. And oh my goodness, I started using this and I'm like, the fish love it. And then he came out with another sort of variation of this called the ugly twist, which had a longer body, a more twisting tail, but it also had all those living rubber legs. And I thought it was fantastic. It became my favorite bait. Okay, the years went on and people kind of forgot about this. And where am I going with all this? I just want to tell you that sometimes it's amazing what becomes a hot lure, a hot bait out there in the market. People talk about it with Facebook and everything now. Things just travel and become widely known very quickly. And this is what this is all about. It's a new bait. But I think the most important part of that is realizing that we can take any bait. You and me, we can take any soft plastic bait and we can make it look different just by putting these little spindly legs and arms on it. All you need is a needle and run it through it, and you've got a brand new bait. And this is what's happening. That makes it fun. Because whenever you can sort of use change to make it more interesting and make more fish hit, I guess that's a good thing. And I guess this is really a good thing. I don't think I'm going to go out and buy a square sponge and put living rubber legs to it. I have not come to that level yet, but some of you will. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.